Good evening. The bond of our common humanity is stronger than the divisiveness of our fears and prejudices. Welcome to BMC News Live in English, brought to you by Al Hilal Hospital and Medical Centers. I am Vinod Narayanan, joining you with the daily news updates. Today's headlines. Bahrain expressed concern over armed clashes in Sudan. Resumption of Bahrain-Qatar diplomatic relations serves GCC relations, said Parliament. Dubai announced a new law for self-driving cars. 16 dead and 9 injured as massive fire broke out in residential building. UN chief urged dialogue to settle crisis in Sudan. News in detail. Bahrain expressed concern over armed clashes in Sudan. The Kingdom of Bahrain expressed deep concern and regret over the armed clashes between the military forces and the rapid support forces in the Republic of Sudan, warning of their grave repercussions on the security and safety of the Sudanese people. The Kingdom of Bahrain called on the Sudanese parties to give ascendancy to the voice of reason and wisdom and stop the armed clashes and escalation to prevent bloodshed. It also urged to resort to dialogue to reach political solutions that preserve Sudan's security and stability and protect the interests of the Sudanese people. The Kingdom of Bahrain reiterated its steadfast support to the Republic of Sudan and the achievement of the aspirations of its people for peace, growth and prosperity. Resumption of Bahrain-Qatar diplomatic relations serves GCC relations, said Parliament. The resumption of diplomatic relations between the Kingdom of Bahrain and the State of Qatar supports relations between GCC member states and contributes to reinforce pan-Arab action, said the Parliament's Foreign Affairs, Defence and National Security Committee. Chaired by MP Hassan Eid Bukhamas, the committee noted the step move is in line with the priorities of Bahrain's foreign policy, led by His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa. It stressed legislative support to our policies and initiatives aimed to maintain security, consolidate opportunities of cooperation and coexistence between Gulf countries and people, and further pan-Arab work and GCC and Arab unity. The committee commended the pivotal role of Saudi Arabia, led by custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa and His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, to unify Arab ranks and overcome differences. Bahrain participated in COPUS meeting. The Kingdom of Bahrain, represented by the National Space Science Agency, participated in the preparatory sessions for the meeting of the group concerned with the status and application of the 5 United Nations treaties on outer space of the legal subcommittee. NSSA was represented by its senior legal official, Sheikh Hissa bint Ali Al Khalifa. NSSA Chief Executive Officer Dr. Muhammad Ibrahim Al-Asiri affirmed the agency's commitment to representing Bahrain in all events related to the fields of its work, in line with the directives of His Majesty the King. He pointed out the significance of the Kingdom's participation in the preparatory sessions in comprehending changes in the space sector, which would impact some articles of the National Space Law, which is undergoing initial review. He added that the agency's participation in high-profile international discussions contribute to equip its representatives from the national young competencies with more experience. On her participation, Sheikh Hissa Al Khalifa affirmed that it asserts the role of the Kingdom in the space sector, adding that her participation underscores the Kingdom's role as an active member in the committee's activities. On behalf of His Majesty the King, Ambassador to UK attended RMA Sandhurst's 200th Sovereign's Parade. On behalf of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, Bahraini Ambassador to the United Kingdom, Sheikh Fawaz bin Muhammad Al Khalifa, today attended the 200th Sovereign's Parade held by Royal Military Academy Sandhurst since its modern establishment in 1947. Held under the patronage of His Majesty King Charles III, the ceremony was also attended by His Majesty King Abdullah II bin Al-Hussein of Jordan, Their Highnesses and Excellencies, senior Arab personalities, in addition to senior British government officials. The ceremony featured the graduation of other officer cadets of RMA Sandhurst, including participants from the Bahrain Defence Force. During the ceremony, His Majesty the King Abdullah II of Jordan presented the Academy's Al-Hussein Medal to the cadet officer Sheikh Al-Walid bin Khalid Al Khalifa, which is always conferred to cadets who show the most significant improvement in the military and academic fields through their training at the RMA. Now we will be back after a very short break. The 16th branch of Megamart and Macromart supermarkets in Bahrain has opened in Sahla. The best offers are available to the customers at affordable rates. Everyone is welcome. During and around the opening day, a variety of fish including salmon, meat and dairy products, roastery, frozen items, food and non-food items, groceries, fruits and vegetables, electronics, garments and ready-to-eat food items are available to the customers at affordable rates. Hearty welcome to all. Megamart and Macromart, your favorite shopping destination. Welcome back. Dubai announced a new law for self-driving cars. Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Vice President and Prime Minister of the UAE and ruler of Dubai, has issued a new law in Dubai for self-driving or autonomous vehicles operating in the Emirate. Law number 9 of 2023 outlines the regulatory framework for autonomous vehicles operating in the city and aims to accelerate Dubai's smart mobility transformation and attract investments in the sector, as per a statement by the Office of Sheikh Mohammed. Under the law, the Dubai Roads and Transport Authority will be responsible to develop strategic plans and policies to improve the operations of autonomous vehicles in the Emirate. The law mandates that a license issued by the Director General and Chairman of the Board of Executive Directors of the RTA is mandatory for conducting any activity related to autonomous vehicles. 16 dead and 9 injured as massive fire broke out in residential building. 16 people died and 9 sustained injuries as a massive fire ripped through the 4th floor of a residential building in Dubai. A Dubai Civil Defense spokesperson said the fire broke out in Al Ras on Saturday afternoon. The Dubai Civil Defense Operations Room was first notified about the fire at 12:35 p.m. A team reached the spot within 6 minutes and began both evacuation and firefighting operations. Teams from the Port Said and Hamria fire stations provided backup to the operations. The fire was brought under control at 2:42 p.m., after which the cooling operations were started. Eyewitnesses said they saw flames billowing out of the building. Videos shared on social media show thick black smoke and flames leaping out of an apartment window as multiple fire engines and first responders reached the area in record time. Saudi Airlines made emergency landing in India after mid-air windshield crack. A Saudi Airlines flight made an emergency landing in India after its windshield cracked mid-air on Saturday. ANI news agency reported. The cargo flight landed in Kolkata, the capital city of the Indian state of West Bengal. ANI reported citing airport officials. The aircraft landed safely, the report said, at 12:20 p.m. Indian Standard Time. The airport reportedly made all necessary arrangements and full emergency was withdrawn once the aircraft touched down. China launched a new meteorological satellite. China on Sunday morning launched a Long March 4B rocket to place a new meteorological satellite in space. The rocket blasted off at 9:36 a.m. from the Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center in northwest China and soon sent the Fengtian 307 satellite into its preset orbit. The satellite will provide services for weather forecasting, disaster prevention and mitigation, climate change response and ecological conservation. The mission marked the 471st flight of the Long March carrier rockets, according to the Launch Center. Germany powered down its last 3 nuclear plants. Germany switched off on Saturday its remaining 3 nuclear power plants as part of a long-planned transition to renewable energy. The shutdown of Emsland, Neckarwestheim 2nd and Isar 2nd came shortly before midnight. It is the end of an era, the RW Energy firm said in a statement confirming the 3 reactors had been disconnected from the grid. Advocates of atomic energy say fossil fuels should be phased out first amid global efforts to tackle climate change, arguing nuclear power generates significantly fewer greenhouse gas emissions and can be a safe source of energy when managed properly. UN chief urged dialogue to settle crisis in Sudan. The Secretary General Antonio Guterres today strongly condemned the outbreak of fighting in Sudan between Rapid Support Forces and the Sudanese Armed Forces. In a statement today, the UN chief called on warning parties to immediately cease hostilities, restore calm and initiate a dialogue to resolve the crisis. Any further escalation in the fighting will have a devastating impact on civilians and further aggravate the already precarious humanitarian situation in the country, he added. With that, we come to the end of today's news. Stay tuned for daily news updates in BMC News Live English at 7:30 p.m. every day. I am Vinod Narayan signing off from BMC News Live. Good night.